Creek Park, in the Independence Division here in Charlotte. And we're here to give an update on a sex assault investigation that we announced last week. We announced the arrest in a press release that had been made in a year-old sex assault investigation that occurred here on McAlpine Greenway. So we want to provide some more context and details about that and talk about the great work that's been done to bring us to this point. So on September 7th, 2022, a female victim was walking on the Greenway when she was approached and attacked from behind. During the interaction, the suspect assaulted the victim and attempted to rape her, but the victim bravely fought the suspect off, causing him to flee. CMPD sex assault detectives worked this investigation from the beginning and were able to make a recent arrest after new information was developed. For more information on the investigation and what led to the arrest, I'd like to bring up Lieutenant Jim Ivey.
Good morning. I want to start by saying how proud I am of the men and women of this police department for their tremendous work on this case. Our officers, detectives, and civilians spent significant effort securing the Greenway and investigating this case to bring it to the point of making an arrest last week where Mr. Khalil Bowler was charged with attempted second-degree rape, second-degree kidnapping, and several other charges. This was a heinous attack on a survivor who was merely out getting exercise and enjoying some fresh air in one of our parks. And this case brought all available resources to bear, I can promise you that. The first step was to secure the Greenway, and that responsibility fell on the officers from Independence Division and the park rangers and personnel from Mecklenburg County Park and Rec. Those two divisions paired up and secured this Greenway for the last year. They have been out here constantly patrolling and being visible, and there has not been another attack, and the credit really goes to them and all those people that were out here for the work they did with that. The next step involved the investigation by our sexual assault unit detectives led by Sergeant Sudreth and lead detective Lawrence. They spent a ton of time canvassing for witnesses, collecting evidence, looking for video in this case. They also then partnered with the CMPD Crime Lab, the North Carolina State Crime Lab, and our cold case detectives to analyze the DNA that was collected in this case and develop a genetic profile of the attacker, including a closely identified relative. And this was done through familial DNA searching, which is different and distinct from forensic genetic genealogy. Those two are sometimes confused. So this was familial DNA. And finally, we had the University City Division, who had 2 sex crime cases in a relatively close period of time, both occurring at the Target up on University City Boulevard. And these were misdemeanor cases that were investigated by patrol officers, but they did a really fantastic job documenting the case, pulling video evidence, and identifying a suspect in the case, which was Mr. Bowler. And once Mr. Bowler was identified in those cases, he popped up on the radar of our sex assault detectives. Our detectives were then able to compare evidence that was collected in this Greenway assault with evidence that was collected in those University City Division cases and determined that Mr. Bowler was our likely suspect in the Greenway attack. Further analysis had to be done, and then on September 28th, last week, as soon as we developed probable cause in this case, we immediately signed warrants, and within a very short period of time, University City Division Crime Reduction Unit officers had Mr. Bowler in custody. We are very lucky at CMPD to have our own crime lab. There is likely no other department in this state that could have done this investigation this quickly. It's complicated analysis, it's a lot of science, and for them to be able to conduct that and then provide the basis for the familial DNA genealogy that then the SBI and the State Crime Lab would have to conduct is tremendous. That we could not have done it so quickly without those partners. As you probably know, Mr. Bowler is currently in custody in the Mecklenburg County Detention Center under $300,000 bond. I'll point out that his bond was raised at first appearance on Friday from the initial $115,000. And we're just hoping that our survivor has some manner of justice with the arrest being made in this case. And again, want to thank the officers in this department and the park rangers with Mecklenburg County Park and Rec that continue to keep the greenway secure today.
So we'll have Lieutenant Ivy come back up in just a minute to answer any questions that you might have. But first, just want to say that we're extremely proud of the work that's been done to bring us to this point. And there are so many people, so many divisions, so many units that have been instrumental in this arrest and getting us to where we are. But the fact that this incident occurred at all is something that's of serious concern. And we're committed to prevent that in the future. Charlotte has so much to offer, so many things to enjoy, and we want people to be able to come out and enjoy these things safely and feel safe while they're out here doing it. You know, I like many others, I grew up coming to this greenway, to this park. I rode my bike. I walked and ran. I played a lot of soccer. In fact, there's a pond off to my left, and just beyond that, there used to be soccer fields in that grass area over there. The grass parking lot area up top used to be soccer fields also. It's somewhere that I came as a kid, like so many others, and it's somewhere that kids and people of all ages and likenesses should be able to come these days and feel safe. That's what we're committed to. The Independence Division routinely patrols this greenway. They do so in all the vehicles that you see behind me, plus on foot. They have bicycles. They have dual sport motorcycles. They have utility vehicles, some of which you see behind me, and they're out here routinely to show police presence out here on the greenway and ensure that everyone stays safe. Before I finish my part, I would like to just provide some safety tips to anyone who is out here enjoying the greenway. We have some sunny days still left here at the beginning of fall, and some beautiful fall weather coming up. So we do encourage you to get out on the greenways. But if you do so, we want you to have some thoughtfulness about it. Please, if at all possible, don't go out alone. Please don't go out alone. If you do, make sure somebody knows where you are. Please tell somebody where you're going to be when you expect to be home. Consider sharing your location on your phone with someone. Take that phone with you so that you have means of communication to someone else, and try to be back in before dark, before nightfall, or even before dusk if possible. If you see something while you're out here, like we always say, if you see something, please say something. Please call 911 if you see someone or something suspicious, something that's going on that shouldn't be going on, that you know shouldn't be going on in a county, on a county greenway or in a county park. Please call 911 in a timely fashion so that officers can get over to your location and check that out. Okay. With that, I would like to invite Lieutenant Ivy back up to answer any questions that you might have.
I do have a question. With this suspect, we do know there was at least 2 other incidents this year. Any belief that he is responsible for more assaults on the greenway?
Are you referring to the ones down south of it, further down? So there is no physical evidence or suspect description linking him to those cases that you're referring to. So we don't believe he's the suspect in those cases.
And another question. I know when all these have happened, it's always been an increased patrol. What exactly does that look like? What does the patrolling look like on the greenway?
Well, like Lieutenant Petrus said, we have officers on bicycle, on foot, on dual sports, on the ATVs, cars parked out here. I know that the county, their park rangers also provide a presence, and you can see them around. So it's just you know, putting personnel out, being visible, and letting people know we're here, and asking for a resource. I saw one of the officers reconnect somebody with a lost cell phone right before we started our press conference, and so that's the kind of thing they're doing out here, just being visible and helping the public. Any other questions?
Yeah, I guess for those who are, you mentioned the weather, the fall is coming. When we talk about like tips, what should people be doing? Are there any changes you all are doing, police? I know the park, people have kind of talked about maybe adding lighting, adding cameras that are on the greenways. Are there any specific things as a department possibly looking at to make sure?
I'd have to let Mr. Jones with the County Park and Rec talk about any physical improvements that might be made on the greenway.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. What we're doing is we're being very specific and intentional with regards to where we're focusing our efforts as it relates to our presence. We're working very closely with CMPD and looking at the crime stats to see where we need to be, where the hot areas are on the greenways. We're also putting down markers so people can be able to identify where they are. We're encouraged that the basic steps that people need to take when they come out to any facility: be aware of your surroundings, be mindful of where you're going, and let somebody else know where you're going to be. And with our trailheads and with the locations of entrances to the greenways, we're trying to make sure that people just know approximately where they are with regards to their use of these public facilities.
I guess as popular as these greenways are, how important is it to assure people that these are safe, so they come out here and walk their dog and run and do what they have to do?
Well, there was a very interesting comment made earlier about there were about 4 assaults or 4 situations within the last couple of years. We get 1 million visitors a month. That's 12 million visitors a year. So 4 out of 12 million is a pretty small sample size, but one, and I mean one incident is one too many, which is why we're doing these efforts. So people feel safe here. Everyone is welcome here, and we'll continue to put that forward so people can enjoy these facilities. Yes, my name is W. Lee Jones, and I'm the Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation Director.
I have a question back to this suspect. Could you talk more about the target side and how does that represent investigation?
So the target cases, just being the way those attacks were random, they were very brazen, and then noting that his physical description matched the physical description that we had in this case, it put him on our radar, and we were able to do, as I said, some testing of physical evidence and DNA in that case, in this case here, to be able to determine he was our suspect in this case.
All right, thanks again all for being here, and for those tuning in. We did put the press release out on Friday of last week that does have the report numbers, the complaint numbers related to this incident, as well as the other related incidents at the target. Thanks for being here. See you next time.